Welcome to the Life Coach Lounge. I'm Angela.
I'm Lisa.
And I'm Emily.
This isn't a podcast for coaches. It's for you, for real people navigating real life. It's lighthearted, it's deep, and it's grounded in faith, friendship, and purpose.
And once a month, you can join us in our virtual Life Coach Lounge on Zoom.
So pull up a seat. The Life Coach Lounge is open. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Life Coach Lounge. I'm Lisa, and here with Angela and Emily. And today we are going back to basics in the best way. We're answering a question that honestly could have been episode 1. And that question is, what is a life coach, actually? And then a tagline to that would be, and why do I care? So if you have been an avid listener, you might remember we did a whole episode 21, on what it's like to work with a coach, an inside scoop, if you will, what sessions might feel like, what people are surprised by. So go give that one a listen if you haven't listened, or maybe just give it another listen. But today we're going to step one step further back, because if you've ever tried to explain what you do, regardless of what your profession is, and then you've watched the other person's eyes kind of just glaze over mid-sentence, then this episode is for you. So we're going to dive in, but before we do that, just a reminder, each one of us that if you're watching us, hello, each one of us have a private coaching practice, and all three of us offer a free get to know you and get to know your coach call. There's no pitch, there is no pressure. It's just a real conversation to see if it's a fit. Links are, as always, in the show notes. All right, ladies, let's talk about what it is we actually do. If you've never heard of the words life coach, or maybe honestly you have zero idea what those words mean, you're not alone. And sometimes the words life coach might have been heard like even from a line from a movie. And then sometimes those lines, I know Emily and I have talked about this before, are not exactly flattering ones when it comes to the profession of a life coach. So here are some other names that might land a little better for you. So each of us came up with a couple different ways that we describe what we do to others. So a couple that I came up with was a clarity coach. You know what you want, but you just can't see it yet. Or even a personal strategist. So someone who's practical, no fluff, like a problem solver. Emily, if you were going to use words that were not a life coach, what would you say to the other person?
The first words I think of are a mentor or a guide, someone trustworthy that will give you their full, undivided attention while you verbally process what's going on in your life. And then as you were setting this up and you said life coach, I thought everybody knows what a coach is when it comes to sports, like sporting teams. A coach helps the team win. So a life coach actually helps you win at life, whatever that means, in your relationships, in your job, personal goals, whatever it is you're struggling with. A life coach helps to come alongside to help you win. How about you, Angela? What did you think of?
Well, and just to piggyback on that, it's not, your circumstances don't have to change for you to feel like you're winning. So that's a big piece of it that a coach will help you with. I just think that, and I'm one of the people who doesn't love the term life coach. I actually spent quite a bit of time with Dr. Chat going, is there any other word that I can use other than life coach? And finally landed on life coach, but it's basically someone who will sit with you and see you as your God-given truest self. A coach will see your full potential, even if you don't, and they will help you reach your goals, shift your perspective, and help you to give and receive unconditional love to everyone in your life, even the people that you go, nope, can't help with that one. Yes, we can help. So it helps you to get there. We see it. We want to help you get there too.
Yeah. So I'm picking up on things like mentor, guide, someone who is really in your corner, right? Like we are there to not do the walking for you, but we're going to walk with you. We're there to, just like Emily said, to guide you, be that mentor for you. I was trying to, it's hard to like when somebody's like, yeah, what does that mean? And not use the word coach in the description of what a life coach is. So those are some great, just different ways that people can, maybe that'll land a little better for people. All right. So I thought the three of us, we all have like an elevator pitch, if you will, right? When somebody we see in our circles and in our community, and they say, oh, what is it that you do? And then again, so you don't have that person's eyes glazing over and you're going on for 20 minutes or more. We just have our short little, here is what we do. So each of us kind of wrote them down in a nice little package with a bow. And so, Angela, you want to tell everyone what it is when somebody says, what is a life coach?
So I don't sell coaching, I sell results. And so my pitch is basically let's chat because I think coaching sells itself once you experience it. But what I help people do is help them get out of their own way. And there are, what is this, 70,000 thoughts we have a day, and they're not always serving us. And so, what I would help someone do is show them that they already know, they already have the answer, see the potential that they have. If you're someone who keeps talking yourself out of what you are being, that nagging feeling that you want to get to a certain goal, but your brain keeps making excuses, second guessing. Maybe you need a permission slip, which we've talked about before. A coach is a great person to sit alongside you, next to you, and be that support person for you.
I love the way you said that you don't sell them on coaching, you sell them on the results. So my air quote pitch, if you will, is based in my own results. So mine, I usually say something like, if I'm being honest with you, I found coaching because I needed it. Like I was literally face planted in health and career and emotional well being. Like I face planted hard in all of those areas. And so I hired a coach, met goals that I set for myself, and also set goals that I didn't know that I was allowed to have. And so that was really eye opening as well. And then my personal results led to my own certification. So I'm totally with you, Angela. You sell people on the results that they're going to achieve. So I usually tell people that I work with women who might find themselves feeling stuck, and just like you said, just walking with them and just letting them know that I'm here to help them, not to put the brakes on, so that they can put the brakes on and be like, skirt, nope, I'm turning back. That's what the coach is there to just be like, no, you got this. Emily, how about yourself?
In the most simple terms, I like to think of a coach in the category of helper or support person. It's somebody to come alongside you, right? Like you said, both of you have already said, a coach provides a safe space to help you figure out what you are thinking, not what your mom thinks, not what your spouse thinks, what you think, what your thoughts are playing in your head, because most of the time we're not aware of the patterns of thoughts that we have. Good coaching is the opposite of unsolicited advice. The answers actually come from you, which, if you've never experienced coaching, you might be like, huh? What are you talking about? The way you get to those answers is your coach will ask you amazing clarifying questions to kind of poke holes in your story to help you learn how to take your thoughts captive, to renew your mind. A coach will teach you how to see how your thoughts are actually driving your experience of life. Like Angela said earlier, your circumstances don't need to change. Your spouse doesn't need to change. Your kids don't need to change in order for you to have a different experience of life. That was huge for me to discover. And the good news is that you can learn to think new thoughts. A coach will help you figure out how to do that. And I love the way Mark Butler puts it. He is one of our coaches that we have learned from, that we continue to learn from. He says, before coaching, you have the thought, I don't know how to think about this thing. After good coaching, you have the thought, oh, I now have a way to think about this thing. It's as simple as that, gaining clarity.
Yeah, and recognizing that you have the ability to think about this thing is such a game changer because, as we all know as coaches, it's not like a one and done thought. So when that thought comes back again, it's super impressive to be like, oh, wait a minute, I got this because I get to renew it, reframe it, redirect it, like whatever it takes. I love that you brought a little Mark Butlerism into the podcast. We'll have to give him a big shout out. All right. So as we get ready to just wrap this up, because we're not going to make this episode too long, because we're just talking about exactly what is a life coach. So here's a couple things that I mean, there are more than just a couple things that life coaching is not, but the biggest ones, Emily, do you have something that when you think of a life coach is definitely not blank, what comes to mind?
Life coach is not a therapist or a counselor. So we have said this before here, but it's so good to repeat. Therapy often will go back and sort of dig up the past and find reasons for everything traditionally. Not all therapy, but overall. Coaching is really forward focused. We recognize and acknowledge what has happened, but we are very focused on what do we want to build from here? What is now possible? How do we move forward? Both matter, both are appropriate depending on what you are dealing with. They're just different tools and different ways to get support. But coaching and therapy are not the same.
I agree. How about you, Angela? If I were to ask you that question, a life coach is not fill in the blank.
It's not just for people in crisis. And I would even add, it's not for everyone. When we were in certification, they said everyone should have a life coach. But over the years, what I've learned is that hiring a life coach is for people who want to do the thought work, want to do the change. And so that is who it is for. But you don't have to be, like Lisa said, face planning in a crisis in order to hire a coach. Some of the best work happens when life is fine, but sometimes you just feel off or stuck in some area. This was an eye opener for me. You don't even have to come to a session with anything to talk about. when I was in therapy, I used to stress about what I was going to talk about that week and really overthink it. And the freedom to just say, I can show up in a coaching session and the first words out of my mouth be, I got nothing this week. The coach will lead the session and will get you to where we'll lead the conversation and get you to a new place. So that is something you don't have to worry about either.
That's a good reminder too, because that, in my experience with therapy as well, I always felt like, oh my gosh, what are we going to talk about today? And there are times when I show up to a coaching session for myself and I know exactly what I want coaching on. And I would say it's probably 50-50. Sometimes I show up and I haven't given it any thought. And a good coach is going to let you talk for a few minutes and then they're going to be, okay, so can we circle back to what you were talking about right there? And then, boom, before you know it, you actually did want coaching on something. Okay, ladies, this has, I think, been very enlightening and helpful for our listeners to know what is a life coach. When someone says those words, now you have a much better idea and visual of what a life coach is, what a life coach does, how a life coach, I love the fact that Emily said in service. And I start some of my calls that way with, how can I serve you today? I hope today's conversation made you curious. If you felt even a little flicker of, maybe that's what I need. That flicker is worth a conversation. So again, we would love to talk to any of you. First call is free. There's no pressure, like I said before, and the link is down below in the show notes. And also, all of our listeners, we can never emphasize this enough, but please subscribe and share this episode and any of our episodes with someone who needs to hear it, or maybe that you would like to encourage today. And come find us on all the socials. Come find us on YouTube. Come find us on Instagram and Facebook. And we also have the Life Coach Lounge private Facebook group. So we'd love to see you there and have even more conversation with you once a month in the lounge. Well, as always, ladies, thank you so much for answering this seemingly simple question and giving our listeners a little insight into the world of life coaching. All right, I'll see you in the Marcos later. And to our listeners, we will see you next Tuesday.